All right, well, today is January the 4th, 2019. And right now at 11:15 p.m., we have a temperature of 44 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 57%. The dew point is 30 degrees, and we have a barometric pressure of 29.87 inches, which is down slightly. We'll take a look at the west coast here in a minute, but right now we're looking at the East Pacific water vapor loop. This is down off of Mexico. We have a disturbance right here with a 30% chance of hurricane formation in 48 hours. Now down here we had another disturbance which was not marked on the National Hurricane Center map, but notice what's happened here. This little disturbance has been superheated and basically blown apart. We can see that superheating process. It creates a blast pattern right along here. You can see that icicle pattern all through here. And we can see a pressure wave right down here at the bottom. And this disturbance just vanishes because the lift in the atmosphere has been killed. It's been targeted and superheated. And that superheated water vapor, we can see that shooting out radially from the center out. And that's what's causing these little rings and this blast pattern. And so this is a great example of how hurricanes are destroyed. In this case, the disturbance was nipped in the bud. This one here will probably be next. Also, we see a transmitter here separating both of this area of weather and over here. So we've got something right here which is beginning to spin counterclockwise. Let's put the grid on here. We can see that this is pretty far down. This is at about 12 to between 10 and 15 degrees north, right about 13 degrees north, and about 133 east. Okay, so we have something spinning here, and we've got this disturbance being blown apart, superheated and killed off by a satellite transmitter right there. And this guy here will probably be next. This is actually listed on the National Hurricane Center map right here. And it's indicated as it has a 30% chance of hurricane formation in 48 hours. So we'll see what happens with that. The other one was blown apart. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other maps. We have the Northeast Pacific water vapor loop. And we see a storm right here. This is about a 900 and, let's take a look at the Ocean Prediction Center map right here. We can see the right here 992 millibar storm, which is forecast to move up to the northwest. Now all throughout this area here we have an area of 1016 millibar pressure right here. So we've got a high indicated just right off of California, central California. All throughout this entire area is 1016 millibar all throughout here. And we have this storm, which is going to probably ride up and over this high unless the power is taken off of this area by those transmitters. And this will literally deflate and allow this front to swing down and into central and southern California. Now, some of the apps are showing rain for Sunday, and some are showing rain for Saturday and Sunday, and some rain for next weekend as well. So the forecasts are always changing, and that's the way the weather controllers like it. They don't want everyone to know what's going on, so they mix it up a little bit, and that it's a confidence game, and so these people want to keep it mixed up, and this is how they do that. So we can see basically from the big map here what's going on. We've got a big weather system. This is 992 millibar, and we have it's drawing tropical moisture right up into southern and central California. So we saw a lot of moisture moving in off the coast tonight. There was some chemtrail haze. Currently we've got 57% relative humidity, and we'll just see what unfolds. Like I say, some of the apps are saying rain possibly for tomorrow and rain on Sunday, more likely on Sunday. Now notice this big right angle up here. This is a storm. You see the vortex right up just north of the Aleutian Islands in the Bering Sea. We have a very square feature right here. This is not carbon dioxide causing that feature, nor is it smokestack emissions. Take a look here in the rainbow map. So we have a satellite transmitter generating heat right in this area, and that is forcing this water vapor to move around the area here which has been targeted. So this is a space-based transmitter, and what's happening is that they're forcing the frontal system away from the vortex, so we can see that not much moisture is wrapping back into that vortex. Same thing is happening over here on this little 992 millibar storm, which may dump a few hundredths of an inch of rain. Based on this pattern right here, we should be having a lot of rain in Southern California, but not a drop has fallen. We have zero precipitation. We can see that this low pressure is causing condensation from this tropical flow, which is being drawn towards the vortex. But we have a blockade engineered right between this tropical field moving towards that low pressure. Remember, a higher pressure always flows towards the lowest pressure, and this is the lowest pressure point in the area, in the region. Notice this tight spiral that is taking place, and we can see that there is transmitter manipulation going on here, satellite transmitter manipulation, that is preventing this moisture right up here from wrapping back into that vortex. So this is how the storms are tailored. They can allow this to strengthen if they want, or they can completely squash it out, as we saw down on the East Pacific with that developing disturbance. Now right here we have a blockade. This is a satellite-generated blockade, which is preventing the jet stream flow right here from flowing into that vortex. So we've got multiple things going on here. Let's look at the rainbow map. We can see the division right here between the tropical flow that is being separated, blockaded from flowing into that vortex, and the same thing is happening with this freight train of atmospheric moisture right here, which is just stopping and dead ending right about here. It's being blockaded by this transmitter generated blockade right here. So the moisture from this flow is not getting into the vortex. Now looking at the Doppler map, the IntelliCast Doppler, we see zero rain in this entire area. So what does that mean? That means we've got chemtrail spraying. We've got the aerosols being sprayed by these specially equipped jets, and that will prevent and delay the precipitation until such time, either tomorrow or possibly Sunday. We're hearing a chance of rain. That's what the official state news is saying on television. Possibility of rain on Sunday. And based on this pattern, in the old days, this pattern right here, we'd be having rain right now. You can see that flow pattern. Let's look at this is the southwest infrared map. We can see all these pockets of moisture moving in. We should be seeing scattered showers all over the place in California, but that's not happening. Okay, we saw that. So looking at the big map, we can stop. Let's go to the infrared map. We can see that very square feature right there. So we have a satellite transmitter which has disrupted that low pressure system. The vortex is right up here, but we can see just how square this imprint is. So that satellite transmitter is evaporating all the moisture in this area. It's forcing the entire frontal system to move around and up towards that vortex, which we cannot entirely see, but the same thing is happening here. We have a separation between the frontal system and the vortex. That's the strategy, is to separate the moisture field, the frontal system, from the vortex, and that's how these storms are weakened. Let's get rid of that dead frame. There. Okay, so this is very square. We can see that contour. The envelope fits very well into that contour. Once again, this is not solar radiation management or smokestack emissions causing any of this manipulation. Carbon dioxide has nothing to do with any of the manipulation that we've been talking about in the 900 plus videos on this channel. So the fake news in the United States, the fake news, we're talking about CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox News, and all the rest. They're not reporting our weather correctly. They're not showing us these maps, and there's a reason for that. That's why we're doing this as a public service, to wake people up. Because the television set and the radio and the magazines and the newspapers are all lying to the American people about the weather. It's not carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is an essential building block of our universe and our life cycle here. Plants and trees breathe in carbon dioxide, and they exhale, they breathe out oxygen. That's the photosynthesis process. I don't know if they're teaching this in school anymore, but that's a basic science, like 6th grade or 5th grade science. Carbon dioxide is an essential compound that all trees and plants must have. It has nothing to do with the weather being fouled up. In fact, these satellite transmitters causing these right angles, causing this giant area of this huge open space here, many hundreds of thousands of square miles right here. This is how these transmitters can raise the temperature of the ocean, the upper 3 feet of ocean temperature, by just maintaining a high pressure blockade all throughout this area. You do this for enough days in a row, and you're going to heat the oceans. You can do the same thing up in the ice caps. You want to melt the ice caps? Install high pressure like this right over the North Pole. You can raise the ocean, 6 or 8 inches a foot. As long as you can do whatever you want. These people have absolute power. And so the Trump administration, I think they understand some of what's going on, and based on some of the actions that the administration has taken so far, getting out of the Paris Climate Agreement, delisting climate change from national security status, and also the Space Force, commissioning the Space Force. Those are all big clues that the Trump administration is on to this scheme to manipulate our weather, while also at the same time running a weather gambling operation. I find it interesting that none of these other channels out there in YouTube land ever talk about the weather gambling that's being allowed on Wall Street. Now, the Hart Report has done some great work on that, excellent work, and so everybody needs to understand that betting on the weather, that is a rigged game. When you have people controlling the weather, it's an inside game, and it needs to be stopped. So, looking at the pressure map, once again, we've got high pressure. It's very questionable whether we'll get rain. It's in their hands. And we'll just leave it right here. Just stop this and leave that right about there. So, I'd like to hear all the meteorologists try to explain this. Why is that happening? It's pretty obvious what's going on. It's not CO2. Okay, that's it.